How you doing, folks? Well, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm in absolutely no mood to be doing any work outside on the car today, to be honest with you. It's cold and miserable, and it's a Saturday I would have preferred to have away from the tools. But nonetheless, the NCT graced me with an absolute monstrosity of a list of jobs that need to be done on it. Some of which, to be honest with you, the more I think about it, the more I think are a bit unfair, but they need to be done nonetheless. So let's just have a quick look through this before we go any further. So this is the list. So headlamp glass missing, that's fair enough. Battery mounting insecure, I need to assess that. Cables and connections damaged and deteriorated insulation. I need to find out what he's talking about there because I have no idea. Oil leaks, I have sorted out the oil leak, it's just a case where I didn't actually pressure wash the engine afterwards. CV boot, that's going to be a pain in the face. Steering rack gaiter, same situation there, it's going to be a bit of a pain, but I'll have a look at it and see. Tyre valves need to be replaced on all four wheels. I'm going to go over and have a look at that first before we go any further. Tyre age is an advisory, so I'm not going to be changing them. They're 6 years old, but they're still absolutely fine. Repeat side slip test, I'm not entirely sure why. Wheel bearings, excessive play, I forgot about that one. So I need to tighten up the rear wheel bearings as well. So let's have a look at these tyre valves and see what the hell he was talking about first of all, because I think he was talking complete brown, to tell you the truth. Or maybe not. Let me see. Yeah, they're not great really, are they? I think, to tell you the truth, by the looks of them, they weren't replaced the last time the tyres were replaced. Well, alright, that's a fair cop. So we'll change them then. Well, I won't change them, I'll bring it over to the tyre place. Now, one of the things I have to do is I have to get a full set of tyres for my Toyota as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chance my arm and I'm going to ask them in the tyre place if when I buy the 4 tyres for the Toyota, will they throw in this job for free? You may as well ask, you know, I mean, if you don't ask, you don't get. It's not that I'm stingy, it's just the fact that if I'm paying, what is it, probably about €350 for a set of 4 tyres for the Toyota, maybe they'll include a €20 job on this as well, so, you know, we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's have a look at what's going on under the bonnet next. Okay, so just looking at the battery first of all, he was saying it wasn't secure enough, and okay, fair enough, it's, you know, it moves, but it's not going to come free. It's held down there on the by that clamp, so we'll have to try and dress that to see what we can come up with. And what I might be able to do is just put a spacer under the battery or something just to lift it up so that it catches it properly. But I mean, VW didn't design it that way, so anyway, we'll have a look. The other thing as well too is the likes of the wiring here and this wiring down here. Maybe that's what he was talking about there. I mean, a little bit of tested tape I think will do the trick there. I'm not going to go too mad on it. Just have a look around elsewhere. Obviously you can see the oil he's talking about down on top of the gearbox. It's a 30-year-old car though. If it didn't have oil outside it, it wouldn't have oil in it. It's kind of, it's just the way these cars are, you know. But we'll clean it nonetheless and get that right. It's not a massive job to put right. I have a bone to pick about the wheel bearings though, because they always have you over tightening the wheel bearings on these type of things. The wheel bearings on the back of a Golf are tapered roller bearings. Now tapered roller bearings need a little bit of clearance because otherwise you'll burn them out. And the NCT allows for dual roller or dual ball bearings. So they're a completely different setup and they don't have that play in them. Doesn't mean that they're any better or worse, it's just different. But the thing about it is the fact that I now need to tighten up those wheel bearings for the NCT and then I'll loosen them off again afterwards. Because they say in the manual when you put the tapered roller bearings in, you tighten them up and then you back them off a quarter turn. Now I'm not going to tighten them up fully because if you do that you won't even get to the NCT centre, they'll burn out before then. I'll nip them up a little bit just to take the last bit of play out of them and I'll leave it ever so slightly slack. It shouldn't be a major job to do, but it needs to be done nonetheless. So first things first, let's have a look at that headlight because that's the one thing that's kind of stopping me from driving the car. So what we need to do is we need to take the grille off. So now that the grille is off, it's easy to get the headlight unit out. It's literally just held in by four little bolts there, and there. Now I have a new headlight unit to put into this car, and what I'll do is I'll save the bulbs out of this one because the bulbs are still serviceable. In actual fact, I think I already changed the headlight bulb in this not that long ago. The only thing I'm thinking is it going to make the car look cockeyed now when I put one new headlight in? I'm feeling like I should have bought 2 of them, but We'll address that situation if necessary. So I'll just get my little socket set and we'll take that out. They're 8mm bolts, so we'll actually disconnect the electrical connector off the back of it first of all. Be a sensible thing to do. There you go. I said in my previous video, this car is an absolute delight to work on. It is one of the easiest cars I've ever come across to do any work on. I won't let it drop because as I said, I want to keep the bulbs. Okay, so there's the old light unit. So let's get the new one and have a look at it and see what we're dealing with. So here's the new light unit. It's not made by Bosch or Hella, it's made by Autopal. Autopal, bro, yeah. Right, there we go. Now, it's grand. It does definitely look a bit different to the other one, so let's offer it up against. It's going to look cockeyed. No, well, a little bit, but I think we'll get away with it. Let's fit it and see how we're looking. Now, obviously, I'm going to need to get the headlight beam adjusted afterwards as well, so that's another little job that needs to be done. But what we do is put the bulbs in it first, because it's handy when it's out on the ground, and then we'll go about fitting it. So in order to fit the bulbs, all you do is there's these two little wires. You pinch them together, and then that allows you to pick the bulb out. So it's a pretty straightforward effort. Okay, so the bulbs are fitted, including the side light bulb as well. So we will install it now. Most tyre places also do headlight beam alignment, so when I'm getting tyre valves replaced, I'll ask them to do that as well. And me as well. So plug the headlight bulb back in first, and the connector for our side light. Done. Looks like the connector for the side light's different. Yeah, it is. There's like two. Yeah, that's not going to work. So I'll use the one out of the old headlight unit. It's kind of irritating. So that's hopefully the old one fits the new one. You can see the connectors are different. So rather than cutting the connector off, I'll use the old bulb holder and make that work instead. So let's see. See, this would have been one of those things that would be an awful lot easier to do when it was on the ground. But there we go, it's in now anyway. That wasn't too bad. Okay, so there's the connector on there. And the plug for our bulb is in now, so let's test it out and see if it works. Alright, so safe to say that it is now functioning. Now it would be a sensible thing for me to go around this headlight unit and just see if the glass comes off easily, and if it does, rebond it rather than it falling off like the other one and then ending up driving over it. Plus it means I can clean the reflector, and then both headlights are the same. So I might try and do that, but let's get everything else done first of all. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the battery. But before I do anything else, I'll turn off the lights because I don't want to kill said battery. I have another video on how to install that beeper you heard, by the way, if you want to go back through my videos. Okay, so I'm just going to remove the bolt securing the battery down. We'll take it out and we'll assess the situation, see if there is something obviously amiss or if it's literally a case of just spacing it out. If it is a case of spacing it out, then that's just what we'll do. So, here we go. Okay, so I'm just having a look down behind where the battery goes. There's a little channel there that the battery goes into, and it's like, it's just too high really. I think what I'll do is I'll just get something like a, I don't know, a plastic scraper or something like that, and I'll just clean that up and bond it on. Okay, so you can see I did a job on sticking the handle of a scraper down there, just using a bit of RTV, and it stuck down just literally to stop it from sliding out, but that will do the job absolutely fine. So let's put the battery back in and see how we're looking. Okay, battery is in and going nowhere. That's perfect. Right, job's a good one. Another one that we can tick off the list. And yeah, it probably isn't the right way of doing it or whatever, but if it has the same end result, who cares? So next thing we're going to do is we're going to tidy up some of the wiring in the engine bay, and basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to just wrap it up in test tape and stick a few cable ties on it. It'll be absolutely fine. I don't think I need to go too mad on it here, but we'll stick the grill back on there shortly as well. Okay, it isn't perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better anyway. I have everything tied up there. I've new fresh tape on everything. Down the back of the carburetor's all done as well. And I have everything sprayed with gunk, so I'm going to give the engine a pressure wash with my very handy little Ryobi cordless pressure washer, which I really like. Okay, that's looking a bit more presentable now. Again, not perfect. Not great, not terrible. We'll go with that. It's my terrible rendition of a Ukrainian accent. For those of you who have watched the series Chernobyl, you will get the reference. Anyway, right. So let's get the air filter changed. I actually bought a new air filter for it, and the old one is like a solid turf, so I'm going to do that now. So first I have to remove this, then two clips. To be honest with you, the air filters in these cars are far too small. They're very quick to get stuffed up with dirt. Now, take that out. I mean, look at that. Like, I know 1.2 litre cars that have an air filter twice the size of that. So anyway, we'll stick a new one out. I'm not even going to bother trying to blow that one out. There we go. A bit fiddly because I don't want to take all of the associated pipework off the air filter. I just want to work around it. Okay, there we go. job, as to say, is a good one. So that's the air filter done, so that's another thing ticked off the list. So the next thing to do is to have a look at those wheel bearings. Right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to take the grease cap off the middle. I'm not even going to bother taking the wheel off to do this. Okay, so that's off now. So next thing we can do is undo our split pin. So we need to take that off, and then there's a retainer that goes over the nut in the middle. So we will take the retainer off, and then we'll be able to tighten the nut. I'm going to keep the split pin. I haven't got a spare to put on, so. So that's the nut in question. It needs to be tightened. Okay, so what they suggest you do, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to tighten that fully and then back it off a quarter turn, and that's the correct clearance set in the tapered roller bearing on the back of this. But obviously that's causing a problem for the NCT centre, so what we're going to do is we're going to tighten it up fully and we're going to back it off only just a touch, and that'll do the trick for this. So let me get a suitable size socket. I was thinking a suitable size socket was a 24, and I was right. So didn't want to say it until I knew for sure. Right, so tighten it up all the way. And then we're going to back it off just a touch. That's a touch. So that's definitely taking some of the play out of that bearing, which, to be honest with you, there wasn't a great deal anyway. Again, they were being a bit unfair snagging the car on that. But anyway, we'll stick our retainer back on, put our split pin back in, and that's as good as they're getting, to be honest with you. I'm not tightening it any more than that because I'll end up ruining the bearing. Okay. And pop a grease cap back on, and we do the same on the other side. That's the job. Ah, yeah. Am I the only one that this happens to? For God's sake. That's not right. Better fix that. Mix up some adhesive. Okay, job's a good one. It's just kind of annoying me now looking at the front of the car. The two headlights just look that much different that it looks a bit cockeyed. I think I'll end up having to change the other side as well. Anyway, look, we'll get it through the NCT first of all. We can worry about that at a later stage. So, right, so we have the headlight done, we have the bearings done, we have the oil leak sorted out, we have the wiring, the battery. So, what else was there? There was the tyre valves, and there was the CV joint boot and the steering rack gaiter. God, it's a hell of a list. But we'll get it sorted out nonetheless. Was it the streaks of black stuff coming down the side there? The engine block, that's That's the stuff I used on the cork gasket for the rocker cover. It's Permatex, so it didn't wash off when I was washing the rest of the engine. It's a nice looking car though, all the same, I have to say now. I'm not overly happy with that bulb connection there on the for the headlight bulb. Those spades are very loose on the bulb, so like if you look there, you know, I mean, it just falls off very easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and bend up the little bend around the tabs a little bit more on the spade connectors in there, and just try and get it to sort of grip the spades a bit better than that. You know what, folks? It's cold. I'm fed up. I've got a lot done on this car so far today, and most of the sort of small fiddly jobs have been ticked off the list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually get somebody who has a ramp to do the CV joint boot and to do the steering rack gaiter, because I can't be arsed, to be honest with you. It's not that I can't do it, I just don't want to do it. Sometimes you just have to admit that to yourself. So yeah, I'm not going to go down that route. Anyway, look at there's 4 jobs that 2 of those jobs I can't do myself, so that's the steering rack gaiter and the CV joint boot, and 2 of them I can't do, the tyre valves and the headlight beam alignment. You can have a go at the headlight beam alignment, but the problem is you get it wrong, you put it through the NCT, and if it's wrong they're going to charge you another retest fee, so that's not really ideal. Anyway, let's just get it right, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with what I've accomplished today. So look, we'll leave it there, and thanks very much for watching, and I will see you again in a future video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Chat to you soon.